So if we go back to my childhood.
That's it. So,
Yeah.
hey guys, welcome to this edition of Wiens World. I'm here with Nancy from Open Doors to Success. How are you doing today?
Pretty good, thank you. Thank you, Jeremy.
Good.
Yeah.
Open Doors to Success. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, okay. Basically, the name of it leads us in the right direction. Opening Doors to Success is an employment resource center in the Steinbach.
Okay.
And yeah, we're looking at now our 13th year. Lucky 13.
13. Oh,
Yeah.
wow, that's good. I didn't know you guys were around that long.
Yeah. Doesn't feel like that long,
No.
but yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be 13. Like
Okay.
we're in our 12th year. But because of the process of the funding, and I look forward to get our next year's funding, I'm already thinking 13.
Okay. Yeah, you always got to be funding a year ahead of it, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So what do you do exactly there? Let's break down to, because maybe not a lot of people know about it. So.
Yeah. So what do we do there? We help people that are unemployed or underemployed to find meaningful employment.
Okay.
So through that, we do workshops, we do one-to-one coaching, we help with resumes, we help prepare them for interviews. So we do a lot of helping people to recognize the skills they already have,
Right.
or look at where they would like to go. So we help people find meaningful employment in the community.
Okay, so what kind of workshops do you do? Because I know there's a few probably various ones you do, right? So
Yeah.
we want to talk a little bit about those.
Yeah, so the workshops we do, I would say 80% is personal development.
Okay.
So building confidence through helping people to see the skills they already have through their life experiences,
Right.
through jobs they've had in the past. We do some computer training as well. So it's mostly the soft skills. It's really about
Right.
building confidence, recognizing what's holding you back, how to move forward. We watch a lot of inspirational videos.
Okay.
We do a lot of mind work, like positive thinking and mindset,
Yeah.
to recognize those mindsets that hold us back and how we think, and we don't even realize how we.
Absolutely.
So to help to recognize how we hold ourselves back.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's extremely important. I think just the way you think about where you are, the way you want to go, it's got to line up, right? Having a mindset where you're struggling or, oh, this will never happen to me, but you're right, it won't. Right?
Exactly.
So let's
What
change
we-
that, right?
Exactly. Sometimes it's a matter of somebody coming into the program and maybe they've been to one or two workshops and something's already clicked.
Yeah.
Yeah, why am I not out there applying for jobs, you know? But yeah, we've had times like that as well. Yeah.
What's your demographic? What age group? What?
But really is 18 to, we just had someone in our program in her 60s. We've had people in their 70s. There's no, if someone wants to work, that means they still have something to offer.
Yeah.
So we encourage them, and yeah, there's no age. You have to be, of course, a legal working age.
Right.
Yeah. And out of school. We don't
Right.
want to encourage anyone to quit school. But at the same time, there's a story to that as well. Sometimes we need to get out of school because we're not focused and maybe get a touch of reality, and then we might go back, you know?
It's not a one size fits all, right?
Exactly.
You can work with people.
And that's just it. It's not a one size fits all. Yeah. The challenges. So yeah, we work with people with all kinds of challenges, though. Just mindset. Some people have maybe some physical limitations. They need to change their job.
Right.
Maybe they've had a job for 20 years and now they're laid off, and that's all they've known. Where do I start now? I have not. So we really, yeah, everybody comes in at a different with a different story.
Yeah. So tell us, like, because you are on just off Main Street, right?
Yeah, we're just
On the 12
like
there.
close to the intersection. Yeah, on the 12 by Little Caesars.
Yeah.
We all know where pizza is.
Yeah, exactly. Easiest landmark is where's the pizza?
I was going to say the fitness place, Snap Fitness,
Yeah.
but the pizza comes to mind.
No, you go to pizza, then you go to the Snap, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so what is it like when you walk in the building? Because I've been there before. Like, talk a little bit about that.
So when you walk in the building, we have a receptionist there, and a lot of people they're unemployed and they're checking us out. So you walk in the building, and the first thing is we welcome everyone. Every one of our staff, we have a story. We can connect with people coming in so it's very welcoming. It's just naturally welcoming. Every time somebody comes in the door, we just love to see people come in. Of course, that helps our numbers as well. Our targets we are government funded. But yeah, it's welcoming and curiosity. We have a sense of curiosity.
Right.
How can we help this person? You know, what's going on for them?
Yeah. It's not that you're coming at it with, we have all the answers. Okay, what are you looking for? How do we match you with the right?
And that's just it.
Yeah.
And the answers are inside.
Yeah.
And so we really just help people to see that through. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when they come in, we want to figure out where they're at, what kind of help they need. Some people need the whole thing. I'm just really depressed. I've got anxiety going on. Going back to work is really hard for me. So that's one person that might come through the door.
Right.
Another person might come in, I just need a resume. I've got lots of skills, I got lots of experience, but nobody's hiring me. And maybe it's a matter of the resume just needs some work.
Resume can make a big difference in those circumstances,
Yeah.
right? What are your numbers like? Like how many people come through the door? How many
So our target is every year it seems to go up a little bit, but our target is to service 180, 190 people in the
Okay.
year,
Okay.
and getting a 55 to 60% of them employed. And I was just talking to my manager today, and she was showing our numbers. We are halfway through our year now,
Yeah.
right at the halfway mark.
Okay.
And we are right on target for our people getting work, but we have more people coming in, but a lot of them we're still working with. We work with someone until they can do this on their own or they get work. Yeah.
That's pretty good percentage to turn around, like 65%. That's huge.
The funny thing is, though, my very first year of getting funding for this, when I was talking to the potential funder, she said, so how many people are you going to service in a year? And back then it was a lot less. We've grown a lot. We have more staff now. And she says, how many of those are going to get work? I says, 100%. We want everybody to get a job. She said, first of all, Nancy, let's get real here. So she says, if you do 60%, you're doing great. I'm like, okay. Yeah, but the reality is not everybody's ready at that time.
Right. It's a process, right? Because not everybody, like you said, is ready. Everybody's coming different stages. One just needs his resume done. The next one needs to start beginning and work through life, right?
Exactly.
And that's awesome. Do you have counseling there as well? Or because you talked about depression?
Yeah, we're coaches. Okay, so we're not counselors, but at the same time, sometimes we just need someone to hear what's going on in my life.
Yes.
I'm actually confident to say we help a lot of people get through the anxiety, get through the depression. We've had people come into our program that maybe have problem with alcohol, right? So then they realize that's where they're at. They need to get help for this. So then they're good with us, and now they're getting help. They're quitting the drinking, and then they're letting us know, because we build relationships, right? And then they get going with their life. So we help people to see what they need to take care of too, and to take the steps that they need.
And sometimes people have a blind spot where they just don't recognize, I need to do this. Or maybe they just in denial about it, right? And then having somebody like, let's work through that, right?
Yeah.
Like, why do we need it? Sometimes it's not just knowing that, it's why do you need to work through it? And then, okay, if I do this, that's what's holding me back from getting the job, from getting this, right? So,
Yeah, and really, like you said, and then they sort that out on their own, just through coming to being real.
Yeah.
Right? And realizing that being real is not so scary, because everything we can work through.
And it helps when your staff has gone through life and knows that, right? And if I understand correctly, you had or have that has gone through the program and is now working there, right?
Yes,
Too, right? So
yes.
that's
My
awesome.
manager, and she has no problem sharing the story. So my manager's been with me. Oh my gosh, I'm starting to lose count now. But she came to a program in the early years, dealing with some anxiety to get back to work and stuff that she wanted to work through. So she took our program.
Yeah.
We had a 12-week program, which we still have. We're working through those steps. And she came faithfully every day. And then by the time she had finished the program, we offered her a wage subsidized position where for 6 months she would be our front desk person, right? She would answer the phones, she would welcome everyone, post jobs, all of that, like a reception clerical type of job, right?
Yeah.
So she did that. After she finished the 6 months with us doing that, I had an opening for an unemployment coach, and she was so ready. And I interviewed her for that position, and she got it. An amazing coach, because she's been there and she's been able to help people, right? So within timing with me, it just gets messed up. But in no time, then I needed a new manager. And there she was, and always taking initiative, passionate about the program, on being there for people, and an amazing coach. So yeah, she's now my manager, And she runs things. You've met her.
Yeah.
So
So
she's been.
I didn't want to mention names because I wasn't sure.
No.
Yeah.
She'll be watching this.
Yeah.
She'll know I'm talking about her.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've had situations too where I had another one, actually my manager from past. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that well. She had some things to work on. But she also, in her journey, she did our program, and then she finished our program, and then she got hired as a coach.
Okay.
And then she became a manager. Like sometimes life happens, whatever.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it really is an opportunity to grow and to learn about yourself and just open up to possibility.
Yeah. That's exciting. So let's go back a little bit. Let's
For
talk
sure.
about you specifically.
Yeah.
You opened this bit, like, open doors to
it's my
success.
baby.
Right? Yeah. So let's go back to the beginning. You can go back as far as you want to what kind of what in life happened that went from one to the next to the next to the next that brought you to this point.
Yeah, so where it all began and how it began. My very first career goes way back. We won't say how many years. But yeah, I was a commercial artist.
Okay.
That was my thing. I was a very introverted person, and I loved design. So that was my very first career.
Okay.
And so I did that for a little while.
So what are you,
And
commercial artist?
commercial artist, I designed logos, cap designs. If someone needed a t-shirt for their team,
Right.
sports team, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Right? So I would do the designing for that before printing.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did that. I was very young and pretty much a newlywed when I was doing that. And 2 years later, I was pregnant with my boy. And then I took mat leave. And then I decided to stay at home mom until he was old enough, didn't need mom as much. I did a little bit of work in between. I did some freelance commercial artwork at home. So then it came to the point where now I want to go back to work. Computers had taken over artwork, and I'm like, I don't want to do this thing anymore. So I was starting over. I was a high school dropout, grade 10 I had. So I'm like, okay, what can I do now? So then I started building myself up. Got my GED, so I got my grade 12, and I started going to workshops to try to figure out what I wanted to do now. And then through that, I really realized that I wanted to help people now. But I had a lot of stuff to overcome. Introverted, shy, insecure, no confidence, and all of that, right? I took as many workshops and read as many books as I could, and one of them, amazing book, and I think it's still available, it's called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway.
Okay.
Susan Jeffers. And I tell you, I read that book, and then all of a sudden, okay, I'm stepping out of comfort zone because it's not so bad. So I started coming out of my comfort zone, and I did some retail jobs, and I worked in a paint and wallpaper store, and I worked my way up to manager, and then I became a hardware supervisor. Like, my confidence was growing. And through that, I realized that what I loved more than anything was coaching the employees, because there was young guys that wouldn't show up for work and stuff like that. But I would, instead of discipline them the way my boss would, I would encourage. And I really enjoyed doing that. So then we got to that point, and then I was like, I want something else. I love working in retail. I love working with customers. I was great at what I did, but I wanted to do something a little bit more meaningful. So a position came up as a pre-employment coach for people with disabilities.
Okay.
And I took that job, and I absolutely loved it. The only thing I found while I was working for that organization was there was people coming in with disabilities that were brighter than me. And I recognized this. People had this potential. And so I approached my boss and I said, how about if I create a workshop to help some of our clients to get out there and do their own interviews, do their own job search, because maybe they don't really need us to the extent they do. Because I remember sitting down with one of my clients, very bright, and she was looking for an admin type of position. But it was my job to attend the interviews with her, to advocate for her. And I was sitting there in that interview with her. She knew her stuff way more than I even knew it. And then the lady that was interviewing her said to me, what are you even doing here? And there was like a reality check for me. I'm like, yeah, what am I doing here? Why is she? And now she feels she needs me. And I felt at that point that I was really hindering them, because now they doubt themselves. And so that's when I started teaching people how to do it, encouraging people that they had this potential within them. And so then I did some work as a pre-employment coach here in Steinbach for
Okay.
an organization here. And I had the dream of making it bigger, doing more, and workshops and training. And I want some coaches to coach people and encourage people to really believe in themselves. And then I came in contact with a potential funder, and I was chatting with her, and she was excited. She says, Nancy, Steinbach needs something like this. So she really helped me to, she says, write me up a business. It'll be like a business plan. Everything you're going to do, your workshops, just write me up the plan for 1 year, what you're going to do. We're going to get you funding for this for year one.
Wow.
And sure enough, we worked really hard. And so I told my employer over there that I was moving on to start my own business, and the rest is history. Yeah.
Was that intimidating to get into? Okay, I'm going to write our plan. I know you're passionate about it, but
Yeah.
that's still an element of, oh, we're doing this,
You
right?
know what? I didn't have time to be nervous. I was just, the thing was, I was working with my own mindset, and I was doing the things I was then teaching my clients. I
Right.
wrote a contract to myself before I got funding. I will start, and it was in paper. I will start my employment program, opening doors to success, and nothing is going to stop me. This is going to happen. And I signed it, and I didn't even meet the funder at that
Yeah.
point. So all of these things I was doing and really believing and praying, I knew this was a God thing too.
Yeah, yeah.
I really did. Because when I would go meet my funder, I'd say, okay, God, what am I supposed to say? Put the words in my mouth. And so I had that strength too, because I knew this wasn't just me. Like
Yeah.
this was led.
Yeah, well, what a
Yeah.
difference that is, right? When you add that element of prayer to that, and you're like, okay, so when you feel it strong and you go with that, but then you add that extra element, it just feels like more solidifies, and okay, you have that confidence this is going to happen, right? But what a difference that is compared to where you started, where you said you first were introverted, you were shy, and like also to, I'm opening my business and I'm going to write a contract to myself before I even get that opportunity,
Yeah.
before I know anybody who's going to fund this. I'm going to, like, looking back, do you think previous you would have done that? Would have had that?
You know what? That came with, like I said, a lot of work, right?
Right.
A lot of stepping out of my comfort zone,
Absolutely.
a lot of faith.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of work. It didn't just come. When I tell the story, it sounds like it was easy, right?
Right.
But it meant speaking up, using my voice, just enjoying my job, giving my all to the jobs. Because, like I say, when I speak to our clients in a group, I say, this has been a journey for me to get to where I am. Had I not done the entry level positions, had I not done the customer service,
Right.
I wouldn't be here right now running this business.
Right.
And that was all part of the journey to get to where I am now.
Isn't that interesting how that happens? Where you end up somewhere, you look back and you're like, I didn't do that or that or that. Like these things all lined up and they all prepared me for this point in time, right? And at the time, we're like, well, I enjoy what I do.
Exactly.
But it's not for your forever thing, but it's I enjoy, but it's a stepping stone to the next,
It
right?
really is.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah.
And in essence, that's what you're teaching other people is how do we do this? Well, this is the process, right?
And that's just it, right? And it does come down to what do you want to do and why do you want to do it?
Right.
Your why is your motivation. In anything we do, it's our why that motivates us.
Yeah.
And I always encourage people to step outside of that. I want to do it because I want to make money. That's not enough of a motivator. We have a society where you don't have to. You'll still have a roof over your head and food because we have that supportive of a government that helps us through that.
Yeah.
So in order to get out there and get a job, it's going to be hard work.
Yeah.
And so you need to have a really strong why.
I think that's something I've just learned in the last couple of years was that why aspect of it is like the importance of that why and also you actually have a reason for what you're doing and then it motivates you to get up and go do something about it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
For example, even in my personal life, right? Ever since I was young, I always struggled with my weight. Nancy's usually overweight at any point in her life. And 4 years ago, I was quite heavy and I decided I want to lose weight. And I found a really good program to do it. And looking at my whys, I lost 92 pounds.
Okay, wow.
Reached my goal weight.
Yeah.
I was 58 at the time 59 when I reached the goal weight. I hadn't been that weight since my 20s.
Yeah.
So I was really excited. I didn't stay there very long though. I reached that goal weight. That was my goal, right? And I gained about half of it, a little bit more than half back.
Okay.
So I am back on the journey now, 1 month in,
Yep.
feeling good. Don't eat sugar, don't eat flour, portion control and all of that.
Yeah.
But my why is different now.
Yeah.
My why, because my why was before was I want to wear this size clothes and I want to reach that goal weight. So I reached the goal weight, but now the goal is different. The why is different. Now it's about my health, because as I've been gaining the weight, I'm older now and a lot of inflammation and pain. Just getting out of bed, I feel like I'm my own grandmother. So yeah, the why is really important. So now it's about the weight will come off if I do what I'm doing. But I'm noticing when I get up in the morning that the pain, there's hardly any pain now. And I'm like, this is my why.
This is why. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it shifts, right? Your why isn't, maybe I think there's a general why of what you're doing to your life, but the specifics of it, like, why are you going to do this? Even for myself, the last few months, I noticed my why for my real estate, for my business has shifted into why am I doing this? Because I was at I don't know why. Like, I enjoy what I do. I enjoy doing that, but like, I didn't know what my why was, and I got lost in that. And I started thinking about it more, and this last probably November, December, was really dug into that, and all of a sudden, click, there it is, and I realized what it is. And so it's okay. Now I know what my why is, right? And now I know why I want to go out and work and make money and do those things. And so it just shifted, and it was like, but once I understood that, now I have a total different motivation to go out and do it.
Yeah, there you go. And then when it gets harder, when you go through the challenges, you've got that why that's pushing you through, right? Yeah,
And
yeah.
So that's pretty interesting how much that
It
changes
really is.
everything, right?
Yeah.
So,
It really
and when you're talking to different people coming through the doors, and even your staff, and you know what, staff are going through it too. It's life. It's everybody's going through it, right? If you can encourage and show and direct people, hey, there you go, right?
that's just it.
Yeah.
And helping them, encouraging them to, this part of one of the workshops is they write down, what is your why?
Yeah.
And then we share it with one another, and sharing is a big part, right? The
Okay, yeah.
connections that people make with others, the friendships that develop in those workshop rooms are just amazing.
Yeah.
I had one workshop, this is years ago, and a couple met in the workshop. They were both looking for work. One was extremely extroverted, the other one extremely introverted. His challenge was social anxiety. So the two hit it off right away.
Yeah.
Whenever it was break, they were always outside. She'd have her cigarette and they'd be, I'm like, oh, there's something going on. Just less than a year ago, I attended their wedding.
Oh, that's exciting.
So I stay connected to a lot of the people that, so yeah, you just never know what your journey is going to.
Isn't that incredible? Isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. So what do you think was your biggest transition coming from being shy, being that? Because, yeah, you attended a lot of workshops, you said, and you attended different jobs, different careers, and you obviously advanced. If you're a manager, you didn't start off at the bottom, like maybe you did, but you worked your way up, and you transitioned. That's not an easy task to do for a lot of people, right? People can often get in one area and stuck there. So what kind of helped you grow through that?
Staying focused on my dreams
Okay.
and what I really want, and just living life, having a voice. Because part of when you are introverted, you don't always voice your thoughts. A big part of that journey was Toastmasters. I was a member of Toastmasters. 1 year I was president of my club, our club. So that really encouraged me to do speeches, of course. But it's beyond that, because what happens is you have a safe place to make mistakes.
Right.
And you're encouraged. So I think a lot of it came from encouragement from others as I fumbled and made mistakes, and realizing that it's okay. And then also realizing that other people have their stories. We see people, especially now on Facebook or whatever, and we think their lives are just perfect and that they're not going through stuff. It's true, though. We want to get on Facebook and we want to be a ray of sunshine and hope, right?
Yeah.
But everybody is going through stuff. And when you start to share and you become vulnerable and you share your stories and your challenges, all of a sudden you realize I'm not alone, because, hey, me too, I get it. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So big part of my journey there was just opening up to others, sharing my story, listening to other people's stories, people that you think don't have stories. And then suddenly your stories aren't quite so hard because you realize other people. But that does take that vulnerability. And I think that's what makes opening doors quite different, because we have real people as coaches and we share our stories. The people that come to see us, they're like, oh my gosh, you went through depression and anxiety too, and now you're running your own company. So it just gives that hope for all of us.
That's, yeah, and I think that vulnerable thing, that aspect of it is huge. It's huge. Another example is they just started a men's mental health group here in town, and one of the things that started it was I went to the legislative to speak on it, and I was able to do that, and it was being vulnerable and being like, here, this is my story, this is why this is important, and being able to open up and share that. Out of that, also this group started, and out of that I've received a lot of messages, a lot of different guys reaching out and just, hey, I didn't realize you were going through that, hey, I didn't know that, and I'm going through this. And we started this men's group. We had one meeting so far, and it was 20 men that just opened up and started sharing, and it was just like, and we didn't expect that. Another guy approached me to start this group, so we did it together, and we didn't know what to expect, really, to be honest. But when it came, and all of a sudden, a group of 20 men from, was it 23 to 67, and all different cultures and stuff, and none of that mattered. It was just like
we all share
open
the
and
challenge, and we're not alone.
Yeah, and people like still come consistently, like
Wow.
daily, every other day. I'll get a message or run into somebody and be like, hey, love what you're doing, or hey, we're like, when can I come, right? Or I'm struggling with this, and not awesome that you're struggling with it, but awesome that you're opening up and starting to share, right? But taking that step of vulnerability opened up a lot of those doors, and so I can definitely see how that's effectively.
Yeah, and then we suddenly become an inspiration, right? Because we've been there. We might be there right now.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, but opening doors to success, I can see how that aspect of it, you can connect with people, and then also, wait, you're going through, like you said, you're going through that. Now I'm here too, and you got through it on the other side, so there's hope, right? And
that's what helped me, right? When I heard other people's stories. So you got through and you went through stuff. Okay, so we become an inspiration for others.
Yeah, there's just something about that hope that just can pull us through those hard times, right?
Exactly, but a lot of us are afraid to be vulnerable. It's not an easy thing.
Yeah.
Ego gets in the way, right? Ego.
Yeah, that's huge.
We need our ego, but at the same time, what can happen is it can damage, we can't motivate people, but we can inspire them just through our own lives and how we live them.
Absolutely. That's the biggest thing there.
Yeah.
But you guys are in Steinbach, and so do you do out in the community at all? Or
We do. So if you can, we've even had people come from Winnipeg. I mean,
really?
It's very rare, but if you can get here when you are looking for work, or you don't know if you're looking for work, but you're just stuck, then we can maybe help you find, because that's really what it is. Employment gives us a sense of purpose.
Very much.
It does, because I know as a stay-at-home mom, some people can, but when my son, I have one boy, when he's off to school, he doesn't need mommy around.
Yeah.
And depression kicked in. So I suffered some major clinical depression as well, which I didn't share from the story. But finding that sense of purpose, it means a lot too for depression. If we're at home and we don't have that purpose in our lives, that's why a lot of people that if they retire, they may be doing some volunteer work or something, just to have that sense of connection and meaning in our lives.
Yeah. So shifting a little bit into future tense, what is your kind of vision for open doors to success? And maybe even touch on personally, what is something that you really want to see going forward for yourself as well as for people?
It's a good question, because I've been thinking about this recently. We always change things up a little bit, add new programs, but really what we're there for is connecting people with employment. Our clientele changes a lot. There was one point we were servicing a lot of people coming from the Ukraine, helping them find work. I guess because we are a service that serves people, not so much ourselves.
Right.
We want to just keep giving the services and the programs that people need to work. So that's a good question. Every year it's refunded every year. And of course, going into our 13th year, there's a structure but the question that you ask, what do I see for the future? Really, it's just connecting more and more people with the same thing, helping people to find what's holding them back, to overcome that, and to continue to reach for your goals and dreams, and at the same time enjoy what you are doing.
Right.
Because we're not going to be successful if we're not excelling at what we do. No matter what it is, if you're in an entry-level position, you're at McDonald's. I spoke to one of the managers of McDonald's years ago, and his motivation wasn't turning burgers and feeding people. It was being there for all the young people coming in as they're starting their career. And he worked his way up because he had a bigger vision than just the burgers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That comes back down to vision, right? Is there something specifically are you hoping to grow as it grows? Or are you content where it's at, or where it's
I would love to see Opening Doors have more in the city in Winnipeg.
Okay.
There was one point where I did work on getting an Opening Doors in the city.
Okay.
It didn't work at that point, so then I got back my focus onto
Yep.
this one in Steinbach. But it is something too that my board member has talked about. She's young, she was a client as well, and
Okay.
her career is phenomenal right now. And that's what she said to me. She says, Nancy, you know, when you're gone, I want Opening Doors to continue. So I want to be part of your board, right? So yeah, it's not even just about me. It's about that vision now with somebody else who's half my age
Yeah.
who wants it to continue. So where it's going to go, that's still to be seen yet.
Yeah.
But I don't want it to go away because it's really helped so many people in the community.
Yeah, that's what I've realized when I talked to with the manager there and stuff, just how much of an impact it made, and you could just see the pride in what they're talking about. Right? They're talking about what they do and how they help, and there's a sense of total ownership there. Like, I was able to help these people,
Yeah.
and that's
Being
so
part
cool
of their
to see.
journey. I'm sure my manager would be fine for me to share, but she's going through some stuff right now. Life is difficult right
Sure.
now.
Yeah.
But you know what? She gets up and she's there for others. And like today, I asked her, I said, what are you doing for you? What are you doing to take care of you? You do so much for this place and you're always here. And if you are sick, you make sure that all your clients are taken care of. I said, what are you doing for you? And then we had a good conversation. And so, yeah, we love what we do.
Yeah.
We love being a part. Maybe that's selfish, being a part of other people's success.
It's that selfish. It's the most selfish thing you could do,
I
right?
don't know. That's the thing
Yeah.
too. I think everything we do for our own, we want to feel good.
Sure.
We give to others because it feels good. There's
Yeah.
always something in it for us when we do good.
Yeah. There's definitely that element of that. So is this the only thing that you're really focused in on, is the Opening Doors success?
No,
or-
I actually, I do a lot of evening. I'm a post-secondary instructor for MITT as well.
Okay. Okay.
So I teach international students workplace skills.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so
Are you able to talk about that a little bit?
yeah,
or-
for sure. I'd
please
love
do.
to.
Yeah.
My role with MITT as a post-secondary instructor and international students, young people coming mostly from India. That's
Okay.
very much right now. But I do have a student from Nigeria and I have another student from Mexico. But what I do at Opening Doors, I do so much in my role. They're coming from another country.
Yeah.
They think that everybody else is smarter than them and everybody else has more to offer. And I start with, hold on, you guys. You immigrated from another country. You are 18 years old. You left your parents. You came into a country with minimal language. Do you know how many soft transferable skills are in that? Yeah, no, and again, I have people say, hey, Nancy, after what you said yesterday, I got a job.
How intimidating is that to leave your country, leave your parents? Like, doing it, just moving down the street is intimidating enough. Never mind to a whole other country halfway around the world. Right?
And to Canada,
And
you
in
come from
Winnipeg,
India.
and when it's cold.
Winnipeg. Winters.
Winter. Yeah. They might have rethought
Yeah.
that after they got through one of the winters, but no.
I know, but last year it was amazing. I was with one of my classes and most of the students, they hadn't been, this was their first winter here, right?
Okay.
And it was about 15 minutes before dismissal of class. It was an evening class, right? And the snow started coming down, right? And they're looking out the window and their eyes are big. I said, yeah, that's snow.
Yeah.
And I says, you know what? And this is really good snowball snow. I says, you guys, I'm going to dismiss you early because you not play with this. I was the kid again.
Yeah.
The first snowfall. So I went out there with them and they're throwing snowballs at each other, but just imagining, never seeing snow, never, so exciting to them, you know?
What got you to instructing at MITT?
Well, it's funny because I made a connection because I contracted for MTech, Manitoba Tourism Education Council,
Okay.
because they had come here to Steinbach and it was a job fair. And they were talking about programs that were available. And I connected. And when I was young, I always wanted to be a teacher.
Yeah.
And I talked to one of the ladies there and I said, hey, what would it take to become an instructor for MTech, right?
Yeah.
So they told me and I applied and right away I started getting teaching. And then I'm MITT now because MITT took over, they did a partnership with MTech for international students. So now I'm an MITT staff instructor. So, and I love doing that as
Well,
well.
that's pretty impressive.
And I'm also a certified life coach.
Oh, well, let's add another
And a
one.
mom and a grandma. And a wife and a pet owner.
It's already onto that list, eh? Well, life coach, we'll get into that a little bit. What do
So
you do for
yeah,
that?
Erickson International is when I was looking at getting my life coach certification, I was talking to a lot of people, doing a lot of research, and I found Erickson International. And so life coaching, it's asking the right questions. Because a life coach, the organization that I connected with, is all about people have the answers, right? We have the answers within us. We sometimes need somebody to ask the right questions. So you want a job there. Why? How would you feel if you worked there?
Right.
So it's about bringing out the motivation for people to make the changes through the right questioning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can imagine that's a big part of it. So do you do that a fair bit, or like I'm just
I was doing a lot of online coaching programs,
Right.
but then right now, between opening doors and the work that I do with MITT,
I can just imagine.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, and I just worked with my life coach the other day, because that's what I say. I want to grow my business, but I'm teaching. And then through our conversation, because she's a very talented coach, she says, Nancy, sounds like you're doing the coaching in the jobs you already have. Maybe you don't need to look forward to start building your coaching business at this time, because it was stressing me out.
Sure.
Because I was feeling guilty. Why am I not building my coaching business now? And then she says, why don't you just sit back and enjoy the fruits of your labor kind of thing? And you are coaching.
Yeah.
So I settled down a little bit. You know? And then I think it was shortly after that, I think this is when you reached out to me, and I haven't done a podcast in a long time. So I was excited and nervous at the same time.
Oh, well. No, you know what? I got your name, give it to me, and it's a great opportunity, right? So I had to reach out and see and take a chance and go for it, right?
There you go. Awesome.
Yeah. So what are some of the things you do? So we life coach business that's put it on hold, or you just run status quo for now?
Right now, I wouldn't even say it's on hold. It's just not a priority right now.
Gotcha.
It's everything that I have going on right now. And I want some balance in my life too. I want to enjoy my...
You said you have a grandkids now?
Yeah.
Or one, or I don't know.
Yeah, I have a 14-year-old grandson
There
and
you
a
go.
23-year-old grandson who is the coach of my 14-year-old grandson's basketball team. And I
Okay.
just went the other day to see him play his first game.
No way.
It
Oh,
was so exciting. And
Yeah.
it was so exciting, my other grandson being the coach.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a really cool kid.
Oh,
Yeah.
gives you the opportunity to go and make those memories and have that, right?
That's just it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to share about before?
I can't thank you enough. I really enjoyed the conversation,
Yeah.
and we all love to talk about ourselves,
Yeah.
right? It's a great opportunity to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much for joining me on this. I appreciate it. We'll get this out, and yeah, looking forward to it, and wish you nothing but the best. And maybe where can people reach out to you or open doors?
So
maybe?
yeah, they can reach out if they want to see if we can help, how we can help. Meet with April, our program manager.
Yeah.
Can I give the number?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, 204-346-9840. So April will set up a time to meet you and with you and see how we can help you, because our services are so individualized. Maybe the 12-week program isn't your thing. Maybe it's just some one-to-one coaching regularly, but we're going to help to see how we could help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much for joining me.
Oh, thank you for having me,
Absolutely.
Jeremy.
Join us on the next one.
Bye.